Hi, everybody. It's Dennis, the active trend trader. Are you one of the traders who has a difficult time finding great growth stocks to trade every weekend? Well, we've got the answer. Welcome to How to Make Money Trading Stocks and Options. We're going to cover three things. Our panel of expert traders has picked out three top shelf growth stocks that are setting up and ready potentially to trade next week. Number two, an analysis of the indexes showing which ones are strongest, which ones are weakest, and what the potential is for a move next week. And then we'll also cover another trading problem or issue that you may be having, and we'll provide an answer to that will help you, one, maximize your profits and minimize your losses. So let's get into today's session right now.
It's okay. Let's go ahead and jump into today's session. Hi, this is Dennis Wilburn. I am the active trend trader. Welcome to How to Make Money Trading Stocks and Options, plus some trading tips from our wonderful elite trading panel. Anil Parikh from Delaware, Steve Ferreira from Oahu, Hawaii, out here in the islands with us. Gentlemen, how are you doing this morning?
Doing fine, thank you.
Okay, awesome. And I want to welcome everybody and say, if you want to trade a proven system with high probabilities of success, you're in the right place. That's what we offer with active trend trading. And also, we're always refining to make the system better and better and better. Here's what we would expect to do today is one, if you want to maximize your profits and minimize your losses, active trend trading was designed for you. And what we do today is basically we take a look at market index review and then stock picks of the week by the elite traders. Why do I call us elite traders? Each one of them has been specially trained either in Wyckoff methods, IBD methods, Investor Business Daily methods, and also traditional technical analysis methods. And we want to share that with you. And please let if you have friends that like to trade, let them know that we do this session every Friday. And we do it, I won't say out of the kindness of our heart, but we do it because we like to see other people succeed. And that is exactly what happens. Those of you who basically receive the email notification on the my YouTube channel, Market Tech Talk, I did you saw part one of an interview that we did with Eric Gallum. And I encourage you to go take a look at that. He trades the active trend trading system, and he so far this year is up over 100%. Last year, he was up over 100%. And Eric shares some of the secrets of how he's doing that, utilizing the active trend trading system. And again, part one is up there right now. Just look for yesterday's session of On the Radar on Market Tech Talk. A couple other things, just announcements I'll make. You want to keep watching till the end, because we will basically be showing you what we are doing. Here's where we're sitting as of this week. There we go. We're up about 13% for the year so far. We're behind the indexes slightly, but that's okay. I use compounding interest. I know, because I've traded the system now for over 10 plus years, is that by the end of the year, the accelerated compounding that we utilize with active trend trading will overtake the indexes. I will expect active trend trading to be up at least 40 to 50% by the end of the year. Why? Well, one, because we've averaged over 36% for the last 10 years. And also, without having to chase a lot of stocks and without having to do a lot of stuff, because I try to keep it clear and simple what we're doing. So let's go ahead and jump into the charts. So as I was looking today at the particular charts, what a disappointing, and I'll speak for myself, guys, what a disappointing correction. I was expecting, a much more significant pullback. Didn't happen, at least here on the S&P. As you can see, let me blow this up just a taste. S&P, we blew up, actually put in a new high today, but this is a one-day pullback, 1 day. And it was a nice little sell-off, but you know, it came right down to a past breakout area, stopped dead in the water and said, okay, I'm done. You know, the pullback is over and we're back in rally mode, which we may very well be. We'll see what happens. This can also be a rally fake out. What do I mean by that? See how the momentum here on the TSI has not turned back up totally to the upside? Sometimes if that is just a momentum squeeze after we've turned over, we can expect more downside to come. However, where would I want to be trading the S&P? Probably off the 8-day moving average. It came down in between, and I think we talked about this last week, didn't we, guys? Where we were anticipating any kind of pullback back into between the 8 and the 20, may be a place to go ahead and get into a long trade. And I don't know if you guys jumped on a trade on this or not, but it is pushing up. Now, if prices pull back down below this high here where this dotted line is, that could be a failed breakout. Again, doesn't mean that the market is going to go into just, you know, topsy-turvy type of action, but we do have to be aware that it is looking a little bit toppy. What kind of a candlestick do we have on a weekly chart? We have a almost a dragonfly doji, but you know, certainly a hanging man, which is a bearish reversal signal. Now, but it has to resolve to the downside. So that's what we got going on the S&P. Let's run over here to, wait a second, get the charts back up. There we go. I've got about a jillion things here. So, okay, let's put on my screen. So the NASDAQ. What is the NASDAQ telling us? Slide everything over to the right. So NASDAQ, again, look, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It came almost to the penny down to the uptrending trend line, stopped dead in the water, and rebounded and rallied. So the market really wasn't under correction. In under correction, I think it was under pressure a little bit on the IBD rating system, but this is a reversal and specifically taken off as a rally attempt. Again, on the Qs, where am I looking at potentially trading it? Is off of the 8 or off of the uptrending line, maybe a little bit deeper. But again, it too came down to this last breakout. There was a breakout window right there, a gap up, came down to the top of, you know, the bottom of the window sill, rebounded directly. Not a lot to write home about the momentum indicators on the daily chart. We still have a cross to the downside on the TSI. Oftentimes that is indicative that things are going to continue to drop a little bit. A little bit of a negative divergence here going on. Let me show you on the market forecast. The thing to remember, though, is with negative divergence, price action itself can still push up and go higher. Now, oftentimes when that happens and you're getting this negative divergence, we know that it's pushing higher on less momentum. Thus, it could lead to a stronger pullback. I would really like to see a 7 to 10% pullback, simply just to basically clean out the froth and allow us to get back into some potentially good trades. Now, so that's what we've got going on. The Qs, again, 1 day pullback, and we're done, and we're off to the races again. Now, we haven't broken above the new high. Look at this on the IWM. I think you'll really enjoy what I'm going to show you here. I think I left it in place. I did. We started tracking, and one of the things that was very noticeable on the interview I did with Eric, he talks about utilizing that he learned from us about how to use the Fibonacci's. And he says, Dennis, you taught us to use the 1272 Fibonacci extension, for that's where things tend to either reverse off of to the downside or to the upside. And I want to show you this because it's so, it doesn't happen every time, but it does happen all the time. I took the Fibonacci from this low here up to this high, and then we stretched it down. Price action started failing, started breaking down, broke down through the 50, broke down through the 61.2, 61.8, broke down below this level, and then finally broke the 100% mark. Where did it fall to? Almost to the penny to the 1272 extension. Now, I think that the more traders that are out there that are looking for this, the more times it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So what was the price on the Fibonacci there? If it will tell me. There we go. 217.78. What was the actual low that day? Well, the actual low that day was 217.85. So that's, what was that? 7 cents away. So, that's almost close enough to be considered on the spot and on the target. So pay attention to those. So how do we want to trade this right now? Let me get rid of the dots here. Okay. We did make a lower low. Now that makes a series of, here's a low, lower high, even if it's just slightly, lower high, just slightly. Put in a lower low now. Let's see what it does on this rally attempt. I would be looking, if the market is going to weaken, I would look at IWM falling faster than the other indexes. So I would look to potentially buy puts or do TZA, the leveraged inverse ETF, the triple ETF for the Russell. So, gentlemen, that's what I'm seeing. I'm both bullish and I'm bearish, but I'm primarily leaning towards more upside. But especially since we're getting these really short and shallow pullbacks, but dadgummit, you have to be really ready for them. So, Steve, Anil?
Pretty much agree with you. I was very nervous after yesterday. I thought we were starting a correction. I'm very surprised we've flipped on a dime and taking out yesterday's high even. I'm surprised, but I think you trade with the charts show you, and I agree with you. I'm re-entering long trades.
Yeah.
I was not happy about taking new trades as of yesterday, but I'm very happy to take them today and manage them. If they don't work out, they don't work out. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you got to trade the chart in front of you. Anil?
Yeah, I was also surprised yesterday. Some of my position I did get stopped out because I trade with my triple screen system.
Yeah.
But then it kind of reversed as the day progressed, so that was good.
Yeah, and and that's one thing where you kind of have to almost try to approach it from you got to remember that we're not marrying any of the stocks that we're trading. I mean, we may be dating them for a while, but we're not marrying them. And so, and so that way they're not going to break your heart when they, leave you high and dry. Because I had two stocks that we traded this past week with the autopilot trading system, and they round tripped on us the same day. I mean, came down, triggered into the trades, and then kept on going down. But fortunately, we had stop losses in place, and neither of them even lost 5%. One of them was about 3.5%, the other one was 4.5%. Well within the parameters of the trading system. Barry asked a question, Dennis, if it reverses again, any thoughts on to what level? Okay, Barry, if which reverses? I'll let you lay that in there. Bruce Crawford says, how do you use the market forecast study that you're showing? Do you have a video? Bruce, I think I do over on my YouTube channel. Okay, you're talking about the Russell? If it reverses to what level? That's a great question. Here, let's take a real quick snapshot on that. I will answer this question for Barry. There's a couple of ways to figure this out. One of the ways is to, if we assume that, let's say that we get up into the moving average and today's high is the high. Well, one of the way to do that is just take the Fibonacci's. And if you don't know how to use Fibonacci's, I encourage you, go over to Market Tech Talk and take a look at the two videos. So I take this as an extension that I have over there. One is for price Fibonacci's, the other one is for time Fibonacci's. So Barry, that gives me my downside potential target on here. And again, I'm measuring from this level here, because what often happens is you will get symmetry of move. So I measure from here to here, back up, and if this is a good high, like right now, we don't know that for sure. And so it has to show me that, yes, we have stopped going up. It could be up here in closer to the 34 and the 20-day moving average. But let's say, for sake of this demonstration, that today's high is the high. Well, then that gives me two kind of downside targets. Is, of course, there's the low here, swing low, but then the 786 and the 100% retracement. Oftentimes, you will get a move that is totally symmetric with the past move. Why does it work that way? It's just the ebbs and flows of the market. And so if we do continue, reverse off of here, that would be my downside target. So where is that downside target? The 786, that is at approximately 214, almost 215. And this one here is about 211, 212. So, and I'll just show you on the IWM. So that's it. Thank you. Let me.
Can I make a comment, Dennis, on that?
You can.
I like the analysis and I like the projection of targets, but I think one of the things particularly newer traders need to be careful about is not to try to predict the market. I think you got to be ready for everything, and I tend to use I'm aware of fib levels, but I tend to use price action to get me into a trade. I don't anticipate it will go anywhere, and just because it's there, I will take the trade. It's a subtle distinction. I'm looking. I have expectations of where you might go, but I'm looking for price action to get me into the trade. And if it doesn't play out like I'm anticipating, I've got several alternatives for entry.
And Steve, I use the price action also. I use the Fibonacci levels as warning or alert areas.
Yes.
And then now I can also use it for a profit target area.
Sure.
To say, and that's what I'm talking about here. This would be a profit target area, where if I were to do some kind of a downside trade from up here once we reverse, that's where I would potentially have a target. Now, am I going to put it right on the fib? No. It's a great point you brought up. I'm going to put it basically probably a little bit above the fib, just because it's a zone. It's a zone.
Right.
All I'm using it is for alerts, and then once I get the alert, that's when I look and are the other clues in place, which have to do with price action, which have to do with reversal candles and all that kind of stuff. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we're saying it differently, but it's a subtle distinction, I think, that's important to keep in mind.
Yeah. So great point. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the stocks for next week. Great question. Did I answer? Barry, did I answer? Let me see if I answered. Yeah, Bruce, I answered your question on the market forecast. And I'm also working on some new training videos about market forecast, rolling it all together with both. And you know where my YouTube channel is, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and just if get on that channel and just do a search for TSI and market forecast. I think I have a video there that has them both combined. So thank you very much. So let's go ahead and, okay, Anil, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. My stock for today is Restoration Hardware.
All right.
It is, I produce here Delaware Focus List, and it was on my list a few weeks ago, and again, giving me an indication. Fell hard yesterday, but found support around 50-day line.
Okay.
Reversed, and fundamentals are excellent, so I'm picking that stock.
Okay. Now, would you buy now, or would you?
No, I'd buy right now.
Okay, cool. Stop loss below yesterday's low?
About 4%, whatever it comes out to be.
Okay. And that's a great thing to be. You know, guys, take a look at it. Okay, if Anil buys now, a 4% will put us, you know, a little bit over 4%, less than 5% will put us below yesterday's low. So always know what your exit plan is, just like Anil just demonstrated. He knows where he's going to get it out for either a profit. How do you determine your profit targets, Anil?
I let my system do it. Once I get a buy signal, I let it run until it gives me, but it roughly comes around somewhere between 10 to 15%. I get my first signal usually.
Okay.
To sell. And then I have to determine whether I want to sell all of it or half of it or go further.
Okay. So now Steve's pick for today is BX. And I was looking at this one yesterday. I was joking around with Steve earlier when he sent this to me. And I said, you and Anil are stealing my picks, man. So tell us what you got going on.
Surprise, yeah. We got a good list pretty much that we monitor. So
that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, my pick is BX. It's been in a very nice, strong trend. It's pulled back recently to the 20-period rising moving average. And it's got great price action. Considering yesterday's weakness, I thought it was relatively very strong. Down a little bit, but not bad. And it's buyable today, buyable Monday, I would think. But it's buyable right now.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, I like it. I mean, this has got a lot of stuff going for it, everybody. It's above all the moving averages. All the moving averages are stacked going up. Steve mentioned the rising 20-day moving average. You can see that's my purple line right there. I use the EMAs in that particular case. So great pick, Steve. I really like it. And,
thank you.
And the one thing that I would, for on my own chart that I would do right now is I would take this line and I'd either duplicate it or I would activate it, and I would move it, go ahead and move it on back down to let it reflect off of this low here.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I would do on it. So my pick for today is, we have traded this one before, but I like it, Revolve Group.
Oh, very good.
And it has basically, say again?
That's a good one.
And we traded Revolve Group from, earlier this year. I think we picked it up. Yeah, we did. We picked up here about $56. Took all the profits off when it got up here to about 69. Now it's consolidated and pulled back into a uptrend line, or actually the 34-day moving average. Now it's in a real nice rebound. And I would also say this is, it's buyable today. I would prefer buying it off of the 8-day moving average right there. And that would give me a down, I would have to size it properly because that would be about a 9% loss if it got down below this swing low here. I would I would utilize the uptrend line for my stop loss, just 15, 20 cents below that. and it put me out about 6%, and then I would adjust. I would adjust the.
I agree with you. I like the trade, Dennis, and I would have a tighter stop though. Given the strong bar today, I would use today's low as my exit.
Okay.
If we get down there, there's something's wrong with that trade.
I agree.
Yeah.
So cool. So anyway, that's the 3 stocks that we're looking at for this week. Gentlemen, I think they're absolute. You know, very rarely do we. One of my best trades of the year. Mark says it's one of RVLV was one of his best trades of the year. RVLV also, if I'm not mistaken, has. Yeah, it does have weekly options. You know, I like my trades with weekly options. So let's go back really quick, guys. The question that I asked, if somebody came to you and said, Steve and Anil, tell me how to get started trading, what would be like 1 or 2 things briefly that you would tell them how to do that?
I think the most important thing, it's not a specific detail, but it's something that becomes the basis for good trading, is to trade with trend.
Okay.
And there are many ways to do that. It depends on what time frame you're trying to trade. But you say if you're trading mainly the daily chart, or say a 2-hour chart, you want to get an idea of time frame, one order or one level higher. So I'm using daily charts. I'm very aware of the weekly chart and what that trend is doing. And
Okay.
I'm trying to trade with that trend.
So
if I'm intraday trading, I'll be using the 2-hour chart or an hour chart. And I have to be aware that I'm in sync with the daily trend.
Okay. And let me clarify. I'm talking about a newbie, a guy who doesn't know,
correct. A newbie.
Doesn't know how to trade. Okay. So you would encourage them to learn how to read the charts.
Yeah, and to try to trade with trend.
Cool. Anil.
Never trade against the trend.
Right on. Anil?
Yeah. My thinking, if the guy is completely newbie, doesn't know anything about it, want to get into it, I would say 2 things. First, and this may be controversial, but whatever you can afford, $100, $500, go ahead and buy a stock. That'll get you emotionally involved.
Yeah.
Looking at the charts or whatever, and then learn. And for learning, I would suggest maybe read one book, Trading for a Living, Dr. Alexander Elder. And he kind of describes everything, the charts and managing the money and psychology. And there are many other books to read, but those are the 2 things I'll tell them.
I love it. That's awesome, guys. So here's my encouragement to the person is 1, save your money. Put at least $100 away until you get $2,000 in your war chest. $2,000. Why? $2,000 is the amount that most brokerage have set as the minimum for doing a margined account. Okay, so that way so 2. And the other 2 things are read 2 books. One is, guess what? How to Make Money Trading Stocks by Bill O'Neill. The other one is How to Make Money in Stocks Getting Started by Matt Gilgotti, which is he walks you through some of the basics. And so when anybody's asked me about that, I give them homework, and I basically say, I'll be glad to help you learn how to trade stocks, but first, get $2,000 in your brokerage account, and 2, read those 2 books, and after you've read those 2 books, come and talk to me, because and plus it cuts down on a lot of my answering unnecessary questions. Because if they don't read the books, they never come and talk to me. So it saves me a lot of time. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Excellent.
So, okay, everybody.
And the main reason, Dennis, is I think you've got to you don't get spoon-fed this. You've got to develop it for yourself.
Oh yeah.
Someone doesn't really teach you, and if you took those first few steps, you're on your way to developing a system. You may not have a system yet, but you're geared and you're on your way for doing so.
Yeah. And so, but like I said, that's the couple of things that I would have people do, because I think Mark Minabini is absolutely right that the entrance into trading is too easy. People get in, and oftentimes they have some success or lack thereof. So speaking of that success, that is, I will send out a link. The link's right there. I have the great honor of being interviewed, and we're going to talk about, and this is with Mike Lamoth, who is a just absolutely fantastic trader. He used to be with the meetup guy in New York City, and I'm going to be talking to him about finding a system with an edge, very important, why learning how to trade was more difficult than learning how to fly Navy attack jets, which is because I used to fly Navy attack jets, so I know what it took to do both. And then thirdly, we're going to be chatting about if your mindset sucks, so will your trading. So I put in a link there. You can find that. It's at 2:00 on July 13th. It's next Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So it's an hour after the market closes. So I encourage you, hey, come over there and just provide some moral support as Mike grills me about what I've been doing for the last 30 years. So let's go ahead and close things off. Hey, remember, if you, I encourage you to take a look at the autopilot trend trading system. The combo is the absolute best deal you can get. It provides you up to 7 trades or orders that you can place every week. Regularly, it's priced about $79.99. But for the webinar, if you're watching this, you can get it for $19.99 per month. If you want to even save more, do the combo. And again, it will typically pay for itself in less than typically a month. And there's no obligation. Try it for a month. If you're not seeing your trading improve, then just say, hey, I tried it, but that's it. So let's go ahead. There's where you find it. So until next week. Sorry for running a little bit over this day, guys, but I think there's great value in what Anil, Steve, and I wanted to provide you on top of what we normally provide you with the stocks. We got 3 great stocks to look at this week, and they're all 3 in viable positions right now. So I'm going to cut this short, and we're going to say aloha. Keep growing your egg. Steve and Anil, thank you very much, gentlemen. As always, it's a pleasure.
Likewise.
Thank you very much. Enjoying it.
So, and then finally, hey guys, take a look, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube, leave some comments. Very important. Leave some comments. Ask us what kind of stocks you would like. I'll ask you what kind of stocks you'd like to look at. Leave that comment on YouTube, and also provide some information about what you like or what you'd like to see us do on this webinar, our Zoom meeting. And so, hey, I see Dougie Olson's on the call. I also want to say, hey, Dougie, I'll just give you a shout out. You were included in yesterday's video, whether you know it or not, because you were the guy who was just trading Apple back in mid-2000s and doing quite well with it. And that impressed Eric Golub so much that he said that was the encouragement he needed to cut down his watch list to 3 ETFs. And that's all he follows, and it's all he trades. And again, he's the guy who's up 100% for the year. So I'm not going to, remember, success leaves clues. Gentlemen, aloha, God bless. We'll see you next Friday.